fight on gun control.
There's over 5 million of us, and we're armed.
Talk about a cheap shot. So the NRA and pretty much Second Amendment supporters everywhere are the villains in the new movie Miss Sloane, and it comes out this Friday. Our next guest wrote about the movie for Conservative Review, and she calls it a gun control fairy tale. So we like her already, basically. Writer Carly Hoilman joins me live now. How's it going, Carly?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Did I get that last name right? I feel like I butchered it.
You did pretty well. It's
Okay.
Hoilman, so
Hoilman.
it's
Okay.
like Oilman with an H in front of it.
Hoilman. Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I have this problem with speaking the English language sometimes, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. So do I.
So you had the unfortunate privilege of seeing this movie before it
did.
releases on Friday.
Yes.
So lay it on me.
Okay, so the reason I call this a leftist conspiracy is because it goes so far beyond the subject of gun control. It touches on their views about feminism, about the Constitution, about ethics, and it completely exposes their motives for achieving their political goals. So it shows just how corrupt the left is, even though it's supposed to be a promo for gun control.
You know what I found interesting about the promos is
What's that?
they didn't really go into what the movie was going to be about. You know, like they were really kind of hush. Like they snuck it in there. I heard like one statement that said gun control, almost as if they were trying to basically finesse people to come and watch the movie because they know. I mean, okay, I don't want to watch the movie. I don't want to go watch the movie. I don't want to support it. I don't want to do anything that at all advocates for this movie. However, there is a big part of me that's incredibly curious and I want to go watch it. So
Yes, and I think journalists get a pass. I think if you're in the media, you get a pass because you watch it, so your viewers don't have to.
That is
and
perfect.
so that's how I sleep at night.
Would you consider me a journalist? Would I get that privilege too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You need to inform your readers and your viewers, and I think that it was worth seeing because all of the promotional videos I thought were very explicit. I saw what it was about, but it might just be because I'm a conservative journalist. But once I saw the movie, it was they were laying it on so thick, it was so contrived, it almost hurt.
Yeah, it's like I knew watching it, I knew what it was about. I don't think though somebody who doesn't really follow the debate is going to pick up on that this is pretty much an anti-gun propaganda film. You disagree?
I think if you are a liberal, you will see what you want and
Gotcha.
you will love it because Jessica Chastain is an excellent actress. And although I didn't agree with the agenda, I thought it was very well done and I was engaged the whole time. But the overarching narrative is that the end justifies the means and that it really doesn't matter what the Constitution says, what is legal. It just matters if you can pander to the emotions of the American people and advance your goals. And that's exactly what they did. For example, there's one scene where one of the girls who works for this lobbying firm that is trying to pass this gun control bill is gunned down by a civilian. This man who recognizes her as the face of the gun control movement and basically says, "Hey, I hear you're trying to take away our guns. Well, now I'm going to kill you."
How's that for hyperbole?
It's so ridiculous. It is so over the top. It would never happen. First of all, this man probably got his gun illegally, so there's that. But anyway, she's saved by another civilian who has a permit to carry, so he's a licensed gun owner, saves her life, and then her firm is worried about damage control and covering up for the fact that, oh, shoot, gun laws are actually a really good thing. The Second Amendment actually saved one of our guys' lives. Shoot. So this man who saved her becomes a big celebrity, and her firm has to cover up for the fact that this whole event happened.
Never let reality get in the way of the agenda, right?
It backfires so much, and it's all about the emotions. So this same character is the survivor of a high school shooting, and she tries to hide that because her career is she's very professional, and she doesn't want to give off the impression that her emotions are leading her. But Sloane actually takes complete advantage of that, makes her the face of the gun control movement, and says, see, look at this girl. Look how she is a victim of gun violence.
Yeah.
Even though the shooters in this high school shooting, they obtained their guns illegally.
Yeah.
So another cross against them, but it doesn't seem to matter. They use it anyway.
Do you think, because, I can see somebody watching this or watching the movie, walking out thinking, well, I mean, see, they show good guys with guns who saved the day. This wasn't biased, and it wasn't biased at all. And I know the kind of misleading use of a little bit of honesty or a little bit of credibility to kind of
Absolutely.
mask bias. So, what do you think? Do you think that's the case here? I personally do, but I haven't seen the movie.
I definitely do.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do. But again, it still makes the left look bad, because instead of thanking this man and being very grateful and saying, okay, so there are good uses of guns, but we still want to advance gun control because he's the exception to the rule. They don't even do that. Their goal is to sort of take him down, take him out of the spotlight, and advance the narrative that no guns are good. And if we had this law, neither person in this scenario would have had a gun anyway, which, as you and I know, criminals don't need to obtain their guns illegally or legally.
And that's another thing too, is the point that isn't the movie the biggest issue in this movie predicated on the notion of universal background checks?
Yes.
If I'm mistaken. Okay, so that's the overarching issue is them being able to pass universal background checks.
Yes.
Wow.
To stop criminals and psychopaths.
Yeah.
Is what they say.
Which we all know in the most recent mass shootings, a universal background check would have done nothing to stop them.
It doesn't matter, though.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I always say this over and over again. And I tell people the reason why they do that, they understand that the law is ineffective, but it's the easiest law to push because it seems so harmless. So it's easy to sell the idea of universal background checks, because inherently people who don't follow the debate will think, wait a minute, there are no background checks for firearms, because they don't know the process, because they're not involved in it. They're not necessarily gun owners, and some who aren't as involved in the conversation as you and I are. So, so they know exactly what they're doing, and I think we need to give them credit for that, knowing exactly what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely. They talk about the gun show loophole and the terrorist loophole, and all of these fabricated myths that the gun control lobby loves to use against pro-Second Amendment people.
Absolutely.
And they say, this is about psychopaths, criminals, we need to stop them. And they're not considering the fact that this would actually harm the good guys, so to speak, in the scenario.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Carly, for taking the time out to speak with me and telling us about your horrible experience watching this horrible movie.
Absolutely. And you have my permission to go see it when it comes out Friday.
Okay, and I'll be sure to give it a scathing review.
Excellent.
Absolutely. You have a good one.
Thank you so much.
And coming up, we have a sneak peek at a new rifle coming from Legacy Sports International.